Imagine a time when the world seemed to fall asleep. For 1,000 years the bright lights of ancient Rome and Greece had dimmed. The grand questions about the universe, about ourselves, were whispered, not shouted. This long slumber was the Middle Ages. But then, something stirred. In the bustling city-states of Italy, around the 14th century, a new dawn began to break. People started looking back, not with simple nostalgia, but with a burning curiosity. They rediscovered the art. They rediscovered the science. They rediscovered the philosophy of the ancients. This awakening, this rebirth, is what we call the Renaissance. It was a time when humanity decided to open its eyes again, and look at the world with fresh wonder. This great awakening wasn't just a random event, it was fueled by commerce, by the exchange of goods, and more importantly, ideas. In places like Florence, wealthy families like the Medici became patrons, investing their fortunes not just in business, but in human genius. They supported artists, thinkers, and architects who dared to dream bigger. This support created a fertile ground where creativity could flourish, unburdened by the rigid doctrines of the past. It was an invitation to challenge what was known. It was a declaration that the human mind was capable of understanding the universe and its own place within it. The cosmos was no longer just a divine mystery, it was a puzzle waiting to be solved. Before the Renaissance, art was often flat, symbolic, otherworldly. Figures floated in golden voids, conveying spiritual ideas rather than reality. But then came the masters of a new age, armed with geometry, anatomy, profound curiosity about the natural world. They learned perspective, creating three-dimensional illusion on two-dimensional surfaces. Paintings became windows into worlds like our own. Filippo Brunelleschi engineered Florence's Cathedral Dome, a triumph of art and physics that seemed to defy gravity, proving human ingenuity could build wonders. Enter Leonardo da Vinci, more than a painter, a universe of interconnected ideas. He saw the spiral of a seashell in the curl of a human hair, and the branching of a tree in the veins of the body. His notebooks never stopped questioning. He sketched flying machines, studied water flow, and dissected bodies to understand intricate machinery. When he painted the Mona Lisa, he wasn't just making a portrait. He captured the mystery of a human soul using layered paint and mastery of light and shadow. Then Michelangelo. Volcanic passion, unyielding will. For him, sculpture was liberation, the statue trapped in the marble, his task to chip away the excess. Look at David. Not just perfect form, the embodiment of human potential, courage and intelligence etched into his brow. For centuries, the universe was a cozy, well-ordered place. The earth was at the center of everything, motionless and special. The sun, the moon, the planets, the stars, all revolved around us in perfect, crystalline spheres. A celestial dance choreographed by divine will. This was the universe of Ptolemy, accepted for over 1,400 years. To question it was not just a scientific error, it was heresy. But the Renaissance spirit of inquiry could not be contained. It pushed humanity to look at the heavens not just with faith but with mathematics and a telescope. It was time to find our true place in the cosmos. Nicholas Copernicus dared to redraw the cosmic map. Working quietly, he crunched the numbers. The old model was messy, complex epicycles. Copernicus proposed a simpler idea, the sun at the center, Earth as one planet orbiting. This idea was revolutionary. It demoted humanity from the center of creation. His book, On the Revolutions of the Heavenly Spheres, was published as he lay on his deathbed. A quiet explosion for astronomy. Decades later, Galileo heard about a new invention, the telescope. He didn't invent it, he pointed it at the sky. What he saw shattered the old universe forever. He saw the moon was scarred with mountains and craters. He saw Jupiter with moons orbiting it. He saw Venus go through phases like our moon. The church put him on trial for his claims. But you can't put a fact on trial. The universe had spoken. This revolution reached into our bodies. Andreas Vesalius remapped the human form. Just as artists gave us new ways to see, and scientists gave us a new universe, writers gave us new ways to think. The Renaissance was powered by a rediscovery of classical texts, and by the invention of a machine that could share ideas faster than ever before, Johannes Gutenberg's printing press. Before Gutenberg, books were rare and precious, copied by hand. The printing press changed everything. Suddenly, knowledge could be mass-produced. The thoughts of a single person could reach thousands, crossing borders and generations. This was the information superhighway of its time, and it fueled the intellectual fire of the age. In Italy, writers like Dante Alighieri, Petrarch, Dante writing in the vernacular, taking readers on an epic journey through hell, purgatory, and paradise. He explored human sin, redemption, and love with a psychological depth that felt entirely new. A generation later, Petrarch, often called the father of humanism, championed the study of classical writers, arguing their wisdom could help create a more virtuous and eloquent society. He wrote deeply personal poems about love and introspection, helping invent the idea of the modern individual. This new way of thinking about humanity and power found its most stark expression in the work of Niccolò Machiavelli. A diplomat in Florence, Machiavelli saw politics not as it should be, but as it really was, a ruthless game of power. In The Prince, he gave brutally practical advice to rulers, arguing that the ends often justify the means. His work was shocking, but it represented the Renaissance desire to understand the world in purely human terms. And then the Renaissance spirit crossed the Alps and found its ultimate voice in England with William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a master of the human condition. His plays are a universe in themselves, filled with kings, clowns, lovers, villains, all grappling with timeless questions of love, jealousy, ambition, and mortality. He took the English language and stretched it, coining new words and crafting phrases that we still use today. Through characters like Hamlet and Macbeth, we explore the deepest corners of the human psyche. The writers of the Renaissance built new worlds with their words, and in doing so, they helped us to understand our own.